Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a book haul. So most of the books that I'm going to talk to you guys about today are, listen, Saga Press has like the coolest book influencing program. If you hear panting, it's Loki. Saga Press has the coolest book influencer program, and they send out so much that I have such a hard time keeping up with it, honestly. But they're all so good. So 5 of the books that I'm going to haul for you guys today are books that they've just sent me over the last month or two, I think. It's maybe how long it's been since I've done a book haul for you guys from them. And then the last one is one that it's a series that I've talked to you guys about before. Everybody talks about the series. It's so good. But I bought the last book in the series for myself so that I can finish it physically as well as in the digital version that I have. But yeah, so let's just jump right into it. So the first book I'm going to talk to you guys about today is The Strange by Nathan Ballingrad. This, like I said, was sent to me by Saga Press, and it's like an alternate history, but also futuristic Western sounding sci-fi. It's like the 1930s, but Earth has colonized Mars. If you hear coughing, Jack is napping, but he's also sick, and that's just what's happening in the background. And the panting is the dogs. We're surviving here. We're not thriving. It's fine. I'm pretty sure this takes place on Mars. A 14-year-old named Annabelle is going across the Martian desert on her own to find out who stole the last keepsake that she has of her mother, who's passed away. I guess her father owns a diner and he's been robbed, and one of the things that they stole is a recording of her mother, and nobody knows what to do. Nobody's chasing after these people. They're like an organized crime syndicate of some sort, and she's going to track them down herself. She's 14. She takes along a robot vacuum, I think, whose name is Watson, and like a retired air pilot of some kind, and they all just like set off across the desert together. I was so intrigued when I read this because it's definitely not anything I've ever read before. But yeah, so we'll see what this is going to be like. I'm interested. Okay, so the next book is called The Last Dragon of the East by Katrina Kwan, and first of all, we need to appreciate how absolutely stunning this cover is. It's so beautiful, and it's relatively short. I think it's only like, yeah, it's like barely 300 pages, and this is about a 25-year-old named Sai who has this ability to see the threads that like bind soulmates together, and he works in his family-owned tea shop, and it's just like this thing that he does while he's working is he kind of helps matchmake people with their soulmates because he can see who they're tied to, right? But he's never tried to follow his own thread for reasons that we don't know / understand yet. He's never tried to find out who his own soulmate is, or why his thread, instead of the red color of everybody else's, is like gray and fraying. But one day, I guess his mom's doctor sells him these dragon scales. He totally thinks that it's a scam, but he takes them. I don't know if he like eats them or like what the situation is, and all of a sudden it works, and I don't really know what he took them for or how it works, but they work, and now we are hunting for the last dragon by order of the Emperor, and he's like thrown into this war, and he might actually find out who's on the other end of his like soulmate line, and it just sounds cute. Cute's not the right word. It sounds like it's going to start cute because he just uses his own powers to like matchmake people, and that's so sweet. But he's also going to be thrown into a war, so it definitely sounds like it could go either way. And I want to find out exactly, well, first of all, I want to know what these dragon scales do, and second of all, I want to know why he has never tried to find out who's on the other end of his soulmate line, because like I feel like that's the first thing I would do, you know what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna check this one out. The next book that I'm hauling is The Serpent and the Wolf, and that's by Rebecca Robinson, and I have already read this, full disclosure. I have the digital arc of this, and then they sent me the finished copy as well. I did not anticipate liking this book as much as I do. Okay, so we're in a romantasy setting, right? In this world, Vasa is a princess who has been like sold by her brother, who's the new emperor, very shortly after her mother dies, I think is kind of the vibe. Maybe her father just died. Her mom died, and then her dad died, and her brother became the new emperor, and he sold her to a neighboring like country in order to attempt to form an ally, because this empire, as empires do, is trying to conquer everybody. but he says that he's trying to form an alliance with this other country. So he sells her essentially in marriage to a leader of this other country, and what the man that she's marrying doesn't know is that she's hiding a curse that is like this magic power that she has no control over, that she's worried is going to kill her and everybody around her. And her brother has like these tasks for her that he wants to carry out, but he doesn't realize also that she's just using this marriage as a way to run away from him and try and figure out how to solve this curse that also killed her mom. And she falls in love with her husband. Isn't that sweet? It's so good. I did not anticipate liking it nearly as much as I did. I will say, like, if you're expecting a very well-developed high fantasy world and intricate plot lines, I don't necessarily think that this is for you. It focuses a lot more, it's like small world fantasy, you know what I mean? How there's like only a couple of countries, although it could be because, you know, that empire has conquered every country that there is except for one or two, but like, don't expect a lot of like high fantasy setting world building from this. It focuses a lot on the politics between the countries that we do talk about, and obviously it focuses on the romance between Vasa, oh, it is Reed, and it focuses on the romance between Vasa and Reed and how she comes into her own. It is very violent, several times, very violent, but the romance and the relationships that are formed, it's really good. It does leave off on a cliffhanger. I'm not a huge fan of that. I hope that we don't have to wait too long for the second book, but I really did like this first installment in the series so far, and I'm definitely going to read the rest of them. The next book up is The West Wind by Alexandria Warwick. I have The North Wind. I have not yet read it. I started it. I need to finish it. Maybe I should push that up my TBR. This is a romantasy series based off of different like mythologies and ballads, and the first one, I don't really recall exactly what it's based off of, but this is the second book in that series that is inspired by the Greek myth of Hero and Leander, and then also the Scottish ballad called Tam Lin, which obviously existed for a very long time, right? But like, I can't hear that and not think of ACOTAR for very clear reasons. But let's not try and let that character color anything about what we're reading here. Why don't I just read you guys the back of this, because there's a lot going on. So Brielle of Thornbrook has dedicated her life to the Abbey. She spends her days forging iron, her evenings studying the text, all in preparation of becoming an acolyte. 21 years on this earth, and she has never touched a man, and she never will. But when she finds an injured stranger in the forest, Brielle can't resist the urge to help him. The encounter leads her to the realm of Under, where the air breathes of rot and the fair folk dance and whisper, where she discovers that the man she helped is actually a god. Zephyrus the West Wind, bringer of spring. There are few Brielle can trust in Under, least of all Zephyrus. He's charming, dangerously so, and never has a man so thoroughly ensnared her. As she embarks on a journey through the eerie banks and caves of Under, Brielle finds herself in a perilous situation, for here's where faith and heart collide, and where she risks not only her future, but her life. So, first of all, the cover, stunning. I mean, look, it's beautiful. The foiling, it's so pretty. It's a floppy paperback. We love to see it. And obviously I need to move the series further up my TBR. I have the first two books already, so from what I've read of The North Wind, I really liked it, and I already am intrigued by what I'm reading on the back of this. The last book that I have for you guys from Saga Press is A Fine and Private Place by Peter S. Beagle. This was actually originally published in 1960. I know now it's being republished traditionally by Saga Press, but it's like a ghost story romance. It's about a guy named Jonathan Rebeck, and he spends his life living in like seclusion in a Bronx cemetery. He has this ability to speak with the newly dead and help them move on in their undead life. But apparently now these two ghosts that have just recently moved on are like falling in love with each other, and he's trying to like help them figure that out and figure out their afterlife and like what they're going to do. And it sounds super cute. I don't know if I'm going to like really think so. It doesn't have like the horror vibe, you know what I mean? It has like a cute, fun ghost vibe. I don't know if I'm completely misreading that, but we'll see. So I'll let you guys know if this is like an OG ghost romance back in the 60s. We'll see how it goes. The last one is the one that I was telling you guys about, the book that I bought for myself. There's this Barnes & Noble here in Chicago that is built in like a historical building of some kind. I don't know if it's like an old bank or what they did differently. It's beautiful. I wish I had pictures. I'll have to try and see if I can find some pictures online and like post them here. It's stunning. It's chaotic because it's very cramped, and all of the bookshelves are like in weird angles against each other. And it's crowded because obviously everyone wants to go and see it. It's beautiful. The bookstore is beautiful. But we had to go because we're in Chicago. And so I went and picked up The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne, which is obviously the third and last book in the Bloodsworn saga, his most recent release. I have the digital arc of this. I have not yet picked up the digital arc of this. Hopefully having the physical copy will help spur me along in finishing this series because I loved the first two books so much. But yeah, if you are unaware of the Bloodsworn saga, the first book, which is The Shadow of the Gods, follows a whole cast of characters that I'm not really going to go into right now because there's so many of them, it would take a very long time. But they're all different ages, all different areas of life, and it's this Norse-inspired fantasy, very Vikings heavy, very Viking mythology, like Norse mythology heavy as well, in terms of like the gods and what they believe in the magic systems, and all of that combined into this incredible fantasy with this amazing world building and these characters that you just see grow, these twists and turns that you do not see coming, or if you do, you're more observant than I am because I definitely did not see them coming. And this is the culmination to those first two books that I have been waiting for so long. John Gwynne has unfortunately had some personal tragedies in his family that stopped him from releasing this for a while, so this is a long-awaited series finale, and I can't wait to finally read it. Okay, so that is it for this little book haul that I filmed. I will hopefully be reading them soon. I mean, in theory, that's the plan. I can't really guarantee anything, I guess. I have some that I want to read sooner than others, like The Fury of the Gods. The North Wind is definitely high up on that list. I am so intrigued by The Last Dragon of the East, and it's going to be a quick read, so I'm really interested. I might pick up that one sooner rather than later as well. But yeah, what are you guys reading? What are you guys picking up? Are there any new releases that you're like super into? Let me know down in the comments. But other than that, that's it for this one today, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps out my channel. Down in the description box, you're going to see links to my Goodreads, my X, and my Instagram in case you wanted to follow me on any of those. But I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye!